What's going on, everybody? Tom here with Keto Lifestyle, and today we are covering a long overdue topic, and that is how to tell if what you're eating is keto friendly. This should have been like one of the first videos I made, and I apologize for not doing it sooner. It was seriously oversight. Like, I never thought about making this video until today. But let's get with the first thing that I look at, and that is pretty obvious, and that is total carbs. I look at the back of the nutrition label and I say, okay, how many carbs are there? How much fiber is there? How much sugar alcohol is there? I find the net carbs, and I use that to make a determination of if it's going to be keto friendly. Usually if it's over like 3 to 4 net carbs in a serving and it's not providing that many calories, I won't do it. That being said, if it's 3, 4, 5 carbs and it's 1,000 calories, that's worth it. For me, it's a balancing act between the amount of carbs I have and the amount of calories I have to work with. And if you're just doing very, very basic keto or just getting into it, you can stop right there for now. But the more advanced you get or the more in depth you want to get into keto, the harder it becomes. So a more in-depth keto diet, you're going to want to avoid things that cause inflammation or spike your blood sugar or various other things like that. Now, these ingredients are a little harder to look for, and it's not as simple as just looking at the nutrition label. You actually have to look at the ingredient list. And deciphering some of these ingredient lists can be a real trick, guys. But I've got you covered, and I'm kind of going to walk you through it. Now, if you see an ingredient that you're not familiar with that sounds like a sugar or sounds like some type of a starch, look it up, because 9 times out of 10, you're probably right, but it doesn't hurt to try to verify it. So I brought a few things up here from the kitchen. I know I probably should have just shot this video in the kitchen, but the lighting and mics and cameras were already set up here, and it was easier to bring this stuff up than to bring it down. So let's dig into something that I think is just going to be very basic. We can just step into the first time. And that is pecans. Guys, these are all natural. We all know they're keto friendly. I just grabbed them because they're kind of interesting. So I'm going to post the macro or the nutrition label right here with the ingredients. Now, something interesting about this is in a quarter cup, there are actually 4 total carbs, 3 of which are dietary fiber. So you are talking 1 net carb here. But there are no added sugars. Because there are no added sugars, I'm totally okay with these. I've got 1 net carb per quarter cup and no added sugar, so my insulin's not going to spike, my blood sugar is going to be stable. These are a great option. And I know, that one's kind of cheating because there's literally 1 ingredient, pecans. But as you get into other things, it's going to become a little bit harder. So let's start off with something that looks keto that probably actually isn't. Now, these pork rinds look keto to most people, but there's actually 1 ingredient here that kind of can mess it up. And I'm not saying you can't have it on occasion. I will have something like this from time to time. As you can tell, they are open. I have eaten some out of here, and they're delicious. But I'm going to go ahead and put the nutritions and ingredients right here. So as I read through this myself, I'm talking less than 1 carb, 70 calories for half an ounce, so 1/8 of the bag. That doesn't seem that bad. But then when you start digging into the ingredients lists, you'll see something on there called maltodextrin. Now, if you have not watched my identifying sugars video or my keto-friendly sweeteners video, go ahead and watch it. I'll link it up here in the card. Admittedly, it is not my most exciting video, but I'm kind of just diving into the common sugar alcohols and their effects on your body. So check that out if you haven't. Now, if you have, then you'll know right off the bat, maltodextrin is not good on a ketogenic diet. It has a glycemic index of over 100, which means it's almost twice that of sugar, and it's going to spike your insulin. But in such moderation as this, I may be willing to let it slide. But if you're willing to be on a very strict keto diet, and that's like your total goal is to avoid everything that is not ketogenic, definitely watch out for your pork rinds. And this is just one example. Now, there's another thing that I kind of came across recently when I was talking to one of my good friends, and almost a client of mine. I coach her through keto. She watches every one of my videos, so she'll know exactly what I'm talking about her. That being said, I was at her house the other day, and they had a coffee creamer mix called Keto Balm, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, big letters on the front, it says keto. Flip it over and look at the back, the first ingredient is maltodextrin, which is seriously an insulin-responsive ingredient. Not keto at all, but they're labeling it that way. So guys, remember, companies are going to try to trick you to make a buck off of you. Keto is a hot market right now, so they're stuffing stuff out without actually doing any research on the ketogenic diet. Another thing along those lines is these Atkins bars. Now, they've reformulated these, and this is a very old one that I'm not even going to dare eat, but I found it in the cabinet. But this is just one example of things that contain something called maltitol. Again, it's a sugar alcohol that will spike your insulin. It's almost like a corn syrupy consistency. So again, check your ingredient lists. And the last thing that I want to get into here that's probably not keto, and then we're going to get into some stuff that is keto, and I can show you guys everything like that. These low-carb tortillas. Guys, I don't mind them. If you're on a strict ketogenic diet and your only goal is to stay in a state of ketosis, these really won't hurt you that bad. But if you're talking about avoiding all grains, anything that can cause inflammation, first ingredient on these lists, which I'm going to post it right here again, is or I guess it's the second ingredient. The first ingredient is water, but the second ingredient is oat fiber. Now, can you really have oats on a ketogenic diet? No, but the fiber is counting as a dietary fiber, which is why they're allowing it to be such low carb. The second thing after that is soy flour. Now, soy can cause inflammation, which is why a lot of people on the ketogenic diet avoid soy sauce and they stick with coconut aminos. So do you really want all that stuff in you? That's your choice to make. I'm not here to judge you. I mean, it is only 3 net carbs per tortilla. So is your body actually going to react negatively to it? It really just depends on you. But remember, read the ingredient labels, try it out, and see how your body reacts. These are just the steps that I take when I am trying out a new product. Usually something like this, I know I'm okay with just based on experimentation. I've also found tortillas that are made out of flax, which are great for my body. But you never know unless you try it. Now this is some of the cool stuff that I found that is actually keto approved, and it might seem a little interesting at first. First things first is this skinny pasta. Now you guys have heard of Miracle Rice, Miracle Noodles. It's pretty much the same stuff, but that stuff is made out of, I believe it's called shirataki, and this stuff is made out of konjac. Now it is 5 total carbs, but it is all fiber, so it is 0 net carbs. Great stuff. So something like this, when you go to the store, pick it up, look at the nutrition label, you'll see, okay, all carbs, all fiber, and then you look at the ingredients, and it's literally water, konjac, tapioca, and a couple of minerals, calcium, etc. That's all that's in here. Now, is tapioca the best thing on a ketogenic diet? I've never experienced an issue with it. There are people that say that the tapioca fiber in like that granola stuff isn't great for you. Based on my experience, I've been okay. And I can only talk from my experience. The research on keto is so new and there's so much conflicting information out there that literally you're going to just have to try it. This stuff for me though, and everybody that I've given it to, has never caused an issue. Now this is going to be a fun one. This is G. Hughes Hickory Barbecue Sauce. And the reason this is going to be fun is because it's got a killer long ingredient list and it's going to take you a minute to identify everything in there. So ingredients are going up right here. So let's walk through this here a little bit, right? Vine-ripened crushed tomatoes. Are tomatoes bad on the ketogenic diet? No. Are they a little carby? Yes, but within moderation, that's fine. Apple cider vinegar? Great. White vinegar? Great. Modified cornstarch. Well, you're getting a little bit carby there, right guys? Dehydrated onion, caramel color, lemon juice, spices, natural flavor, garlic powder, hickory smoke, xanthan gum, and sucralose. So the only sweetener in here is sucralose, which is Splenda if you guys weren't aware. Not exactly the best thing for your gut microbiome, but in terms of ketogenic dieting, it's totally fine. Xanthan gum is just a thickening agent. I use it all the time. There's no carbs in there. So the only thing about this ingredient list that would bother me is the modified cornstarch. Now when I look at the ingredients, it does say that there are 2 carbohydrates per 2 tablespoons. So 1 carb per tablespoon, and that is net carbs. Am I that worried about the cornstarch in here that I'm not going to use it considering everything else is keto approved? Personally, I am not. There are some people out there that are very, very strict on keto and will probably shame you for using something like this, but from my experience, the modified cornstarch in here is not going to hurt you. That being said, if it were like the first ingredient and there were 15 carbs in this, I would stay away from it. But looking at the positioning on the ingredient label, I don't know if you guys knew this, but the position on the ingredient label identifies how much of it or what portion of it is in the product. The higher up on the ingredient label, the more of it there is. So for me, something that far down on the ingredient label, I'm not going to worry about it. It's just like myself. I use shredded cheese. A lot of people will say, oh, there's potato starch in there as an anti-clumping agent. And they are 100% right. What I say to them, don't use it. For myself, I have no problem with it. It doesn't affect me negatively, so I'm going to continue to use it just for convenience sake. And the last thing, and I saved this for last because it's super interesting to me, is these Bai drinks. I don't know if you guys have tried these, but they are keto approved. This is the orange flavor, and they're actually really, really good, and they're really sweet. But it like baffles me that these are actually keto approved. So when you see this at the store initially, you're probably going to go, oh, I can never have that. But then you pull out the ingredient label, and again, I'm going to just stick it right here. It is a little bit long, and I will warn you guys. So the second ingredient is Bai proprietary sweetener blend. Anytime you see proprietary blend, run screaming. You do not want it. That being said, there are exceptions, just like this case, where it actually tells you in parentheses what is in their proprietary blend. If they don't tell you what's in that blend, don't touch it. But if they tell you what's in there, you're perfect. So in here, it specifically says that it is erythritol and stevia leaf extract. So we all know stevia and erythritol will not affect your insulin levels. So this should be fine in terms of sweetener. Then we're going to walk through there a little bit further. Orange juice concentrate. Is there sugar in there? Maybe a little bit, but it's probably not that bad because it's a concentrate and it's going to be used in very moderation. Natural flavors, citric acid, coffee fruit extract, white tea extract, and then just some different vitamins, nothing else. So the only sweetener in here is stevia and erythritol, and the only real source that you're going to have for negative carbs in this would be the orange juice extract. So when I dig through this, I've got 6 total carbs, 5 erythritol, and 1 sugar. For me, that's worth it. Now that is per serving, and there are 2 servings in this bottle, so be wary of that. But in my opinion, 1 of these, 2 of these is not going to hurt you. Even though there is a little bit of sugar in there, it's naturally occurring sugar from the orange extract, and I have no problem with these things. So to sum it all up, guys, what I'm trying to tell you here is that if you're just starting a basic ketogenic lifestyle, looking at the ingredient labels and making sure that the total carbs are low and the net carbs are low, as well as roughly checking for bad sugar alcohols or sugar substitutes, you're going to be in great shape. If you want to go real in depth and be really, really strict on it, you can watch out for those oat fibers and the soy flour and things like that. You can watch out for those things. But if you're in the transitional phase and you're just trying to make it into ketosis and make this diet work for you, you don't have to go as crazy as everybody on the internet makes it seem. You don't have to watch every freaking ingredient. I mean, you can be a little bit dirty, right? Now, as you get used to ketogenic dieting, you may want to straighten that up a little bit. But in the beginning, if you aren't getting crazy sugar alcohols and your net carbs are low, say under 20, and your total carbs are say under 50, you're going to be in a state of ketosis. And in my opinion, that's what matters. So with that, guys, I'm going to close the video. If you have not subscribed yet, go and hit the subscribe button because it really does help me out a lot, and I do enjoy seeing the support from you guys. If you like the video, leave it a like. If you have any questions or comments, leave it in the comment section. But with that, I'll see you guys in the next one.